You're welcome. Thank you. I spoke with Toby not too, I think it was few months ago, and we had this wonderful conversation about open source. And I was like, "You man, you should come. Let's have this. Let's do this. Let's do a masterclass so we get to, tell a lot more people what is happening in the open source space." I was also at the Oscar Africa that happened in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria, here last week, and I heard a lot of amazing things about open source, which actually got me more excited about this program, about this event that we're having today. And I believe Toby is going to like do justice to this particular topic. So Toby, over to you. You know, nice having you today.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for showing up like so late because like 9:35 now. Yeah, let me just start by introducing myself. Yeah, I'm Tobiloba, and I'm a front-end engineer, or like, yeah, I like to say software engineer at times, but because like front-end, back-end, we're still all software engineers. Yeah, I'm an open source maintainer of like two repositories and two projects. I think that's better. Two projects, and I've had quite the experience working on open source, and it all started like October last year during Oktoberfest. Are you there, Precious?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. We
Okay.
lost you for a few seconds, but it's fine
Yeah,
now.
yeah, already.
You
We
lost what?
lost you for a few seconds, but you're good now. You can continue.
Okay, okay. Where did you stop hearing me?
So we stopped at Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I said like I started like my open source journey like during Oktoberfest last year, and since then I started with like like a website next year's like sorry, next year's Tailwind. So since then it's been like it's that's gotten me like super interested in open source, and actually started like maintain when I came to open source. I didn't start like a contributor, so maintaining really gave me that vibe that okay, you can actually do a lot of things, and it gave me that like that in-depth knowledge to understand how to handle projects and stuff. So I think that's like a bit of like an info. I probably like gave too much information and that, but I didn't have to like go into in depth. But yeah, that's an introduction. Thank you, Precious.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much, Toby. All right. So does anybody else wants to give an introduction? Samuel, do you want to say hi to us? All right. So I guess so Toby, okay, Favor, you can go on.
Okay. My name is Favor Oko. A front-end software engineer, currently based in Delta State. Um, so I'm learning and growing, and I'm currently on Node.js, Next.js. So I think one of my delays on contributing on open source has been, the workload at my current role. So I'm looking at, making a good contribution to open source in a couple of weeks, and I'm happy to see it.
All right. Thank you very much. Does anybody else wants to go? All right. So I think we should get started, Toby. So Toby, back to you. Sure. Okay. I'm seeing another hand. Kenechukwu. Oh, I could JS. It's really nice to, hear from you today, man. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, very nice.
So I could JS. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Okay, I'm currently in Nigeria, so here we are at PM in the evening, maybe midnight. So I could guess by name. I'm an emerging software developer. According to what New said, we should stop using newbie. We should use imagine. So I'm emerging software developer. So I love building and contributing. So I think I've contributed to open source once. That was actually like October 1st last year. October 1st last year. So on, and I'm excited to be here. I've been like waiting for this event for like forever. So really excited to get it started. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Echo JS. Really nice to hear your voice today. Thank you. So Samuel, let's hear from you, man.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Samuel from Ghana. I am a full stack software engineer, and I've been doing this for over 4 years now. And I just realized that I haven't really done anything with regards to open source. And then I came across this event, so I thought, wow, why not join this event and then learn more, and then let it lead to my first contribution. So that's why I'm here. And nice meeting everyone.
All right. Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you very much. So I think because of our time, let's get started. So Toby, back to you. So you can give us what you have for us. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Before I start and get started with what we have for today. So here's my plan for today. Yeah, I'm going to, as the you probably know the types of events like open source 101. So I'll show you what opens out define open source to you, explain what it's like, I'll give you some details as to what you might need, and then the information that you don't need, I'll tell you while I'm making my presentation. And then I'll show you uh how it is contributing to an open source project, and show you some examples of open source projects and that I work on currently. So don't worry, yeah, it's going to be a fun session. I hope. I'll let you guys get bored. Just let me know if you're bored. And just ping me or something. So let me get started and share my screen. Because it's very messy here. Let me just close all these tabs or focus on the one I need. So this is the wrong meeting, yeah. So sharing my screen to you now. I can share a window, that's better. Tab. Yeah. So sharing tab now. Where is it? Yeah. So let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now? Oh yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, you can just tell me so I'll know because I wasn't on the screen. So yeah, open source 101. Everything you need to know about open source. So I'm not going to read the entire article for you because obviously this is not why you came here. You came here because you wanted to get excited about open source and you wanted to learn what open source was about and how you can get started. You want to actually know what it is and how you can do it as a person. So yeah, open source is a lot of things, and it basically just deals with most times it deals with software and how people manage software, how they discuss about it. There's a community aspect to it, how people a group of people, or it could be you or or your friends, you guys are just deliberating over something, and then you later evolves into something that you actually want to bring to fruition and have other people from all over be able to come together and share your idea and also improve upon it. So yeah, that's a breakdown of open source. So according to what you said here, so yeah, this is an article. So yeah, it says, what is open source software? So open source software is mostly is a software developed by a community that is distributed under a license. Yeah, there's always a license. We'll come back to that later. That grants people rights to use it, because with open source, everybody has access to use an open source project. So that is the idea, to make something that people can use and people can contribute to. So yeah, let me just go straight to the definition of open source and let's do the overview. So open source refers to source code that is available to the public for any including commercial purpose or modification from its original design. So yeah, this is probably self-explanatory, but for this idea, what this part summarizes is that open source is something that most times it could be code, most times it might not be code, but it refers to something that is available for for users, for people, for developers, for designers or something. And no matter what you do, like there's always something out there for you as a person that is looking to get into open source. So, but and it's always available. That's the open source. So availability. I probably should have done like a better slide to explain this though. Well, some open source licenses are copyleft, are known as copyleft licenses, and they stipulate that anyone who releases a change open source program must also release the source code for that program alongside it. Yeah, at times some people always like they always like licenses that demand that okay, you can't just give us your project to use and say that okay, yeah, it's open source. You actually have to give us like the entire project and say and let us have access to it because in case we want to make modifications or see what you actually did to bring the project to what it is. So history of open source. I'm just going to like skip over this for now because like it might take a while to go through the history of open source and how it became what it is now. But one thing you should like know when it comes to like open source is that it's been around for like a very long time. You probably like see like some stories here about how they launched the GNU project and how it brought about them free software that then later evolved with several iterations until during the 2000s when we adopted the name when the name open source was officially adopted to become what we describe it as till today. But yeah, it's been like several iterations and like companies have like leveraged on open source. There's Linux, probably of Linux, Microsoft, even yeah, I'm seeing here and SQL. Yeah, these guys have like leveraged open source to become great names that they are today in the industry, and that you know. Yeah. So moving on. Yeah. So like contributing to an open source project or being part of an open source project is a lot of things. So and it requires principles that you might not think of as being anything today, but I can tell you from experience that most of the principles you will learn from contributing to an open source project or being part of an open source project will actually help you when it comes to a real life work scenario, because you would actually have all these principles when you carry them, they just go with you um like a tool belt, like yeah, like ready-made tools. It's like you're already ready-made. What would I make it? What would I even say it as? Like you're already made for like jobs and stuff. If you are like if you have like the open source like spirit and you've like been bred and drank from the well of open source, what would I say? So yeah, that's like yeah, it gives you basically everything you need right off the bat. So principles of open source. Yeah, I digressed a little bit. So whether it's for developing software or solving a business problem, there's always like in terms of like licenses and yeah, free usage of software and all these things. Probably like used software like VS Code, I think a PyCharm by the JetBrains guys, and those are software that normally you should like pay for. I think they have like some versions that are paid, but like there are also versions that are like free. So they're like licenses for these things. So when you like maybe install them or something, or maybe you use a project, you found an open source project online, there's always like a license. I think there's an MIT license or something at times that you can, it depends on what your project is doing to determine the license you actually give to your project. But most times it's actually a license that says anybody can use your project and like use your source code for stuff and like this dismantle or do whatever they want. So yeah, participation, yeah, another thing that's very key to open source. So open source is distinct because of the participation and contribution of its members. So like when it comes to open source, like it's like a thing that everybody's building together. So you can't build a house on your own, like just you literally need to even if you are paying people to build the house for you, you're employing them, you are giving them, you're delegating tasks to the plumbers or maybe to the bricklayers, to the carpenters. So like several parts. It's the same thing when it comes to open source. And there's participation that basically carries a open source project, because if anybody gives up and says, okay, we're not doing anything, your project dies down, and because there is no community support and there's no drive to actually make things happen, and to there's no division of labor basically, because that is what makes participation. Yeah, consensus. So collaboration. So the ideology of collaboration is something that open source like embodies as well too. Because like freedom of participation enhances each other's works in like several ways. So like you and I can, okay, I'm saying like, okay, maybe I need something, we need like documentation work done. I'm on the engineering team, we've implemented a feature. I want you to implement that, to write some documentation to give users their access to know that, okay, this actually does exist now. Or maybe you are like somebody that maintains a simple open source project. Maybe you are just collecting several links for people that are looking for jobs. That might be an open source project too. That you can work with. There are several of them out there. Open source project doesn't have to be correlated. So there are several open source projects like that out there. You can suggest to the maintainer or to the owner of the project that, okay, I found some links here that have like resources to job websites, and okay, maybe you can like add these guys here and remove some of these outdated ones. So those are ways you're actually collaborating and participating as well. So yeah, so there's something called proprietary software, and proprietary software is software that or closed source. That's another way for it. Another name for proprietary software. Closed source is code that only an organization or a person has access to, like modify or make changes to. I mean, you can't go out there now and say you want to take Microsoft source code for Windows, and you say for Windows 7 or something, and you want to contribute to it because it's not open source, right? It's closed source. Windows 7 is a product by Microsoft, and they're not giving it to you to dismantle and say, okay, I want to add my own features to Windows 7 and make it customize. I mean, and make it my own thing. And maybe give you some extra like supercharge it or something. Yeah, these might be nice to have, but they're not giving you access to it. But like think about something like let's say React or something like MongoDB or what other cloud the one that there's this cloud.com that we use, but because they are open source. So closed source is like the opposite, or proprietary software, whatever. It's like the opposite of open source. So yeah, and like to use any proprietary software, you must like have a license to actually use it or make amendments. So they're like for several levels of things that you have access to do. You need to have like license to actually do those things, because those things are products and they're like laws and stuff binding all those things, like lots of documents and contracts and stuff. So so yeah, like there's also there's also something called commercial open source and free open source. But these are like things that all these things I'm like saying and like talking about in during this session right now is just to give you like an ideology of open source, because most people think open source is just like a one way thing where if you don't have coding skills, or if you can't write documentation, or if you are not a developer, you can't even do open source at all. So there are like several, we need like open source needs people to actually come to it. So because if there are no people in open source, there is not such thing as open source. You don't actually have to be a person that write code and that knows how to program or write code to be able to participate in open source. Because if I can tell you from experience, like 90% or like this, at least 80% of the thing you do in open source is like code, is like no code related. Like the remaining 20% or 10% is like the part where you actually write code. Because the most part you're like collaborating with other people and discussing, sharing ideas, managing community, delegating tasks, all these things here and there, looking for hands to actually help you out with things. So it's like several other things when it comes to open source. When it comes to coming together to actually do open source, and there's actually commercial open source and free open source. So so the difference between commercial open source and free open source is support and services basically. So commercial open source is software that is backed by an enterprise, and they support it and they give you like assurances of like quality, security, and like the software lifecycle. You probably know it's where you like software development lifecycle, you check like for changes. I've forgotten the lifecycle again, but like it's a thing. It's like an iterative process where like software goes from one stage to another, and then you when you find like a bug or a flaw in the application again, you come back to the stage where you actually observe the feature and then make improvements on that feature. You test it, then it's like probably not like software lifecycle. I can Google it or something, but it's beyond the scope of this presentation, but that was the idea of delving into the software lifecycle. So yeah, and like projects, and the reason I like went deep into software lifecycle is like projects like React, for example, or Vue.js or Vite, or let me mention one that everybody is familiar with. That one, maybe there's Daily Dev, or there's MongoDB, SQL, projects like that. Like they require like several teams all over the world to actually maintain them, and they are called commercial open source projects because these ones actually make money, and like they get revenue and stuff. So those ones hire people to work for them and stuff like that. So they need, because they hire people to actually maintain projects like that. And I mean, if React employs you, you are technically working for Facebook. So yeah, so those are like, they are called commercial open source projects. I hope everyone can still hear me. Oh yeah, people can still hear. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, can you hear me? Can you like, give me like feedback? You can hear me. My network is off. Okay. Yeah, you can hear me. So yeah, these are called like commercial open source projects, and these ones actually require teams and people. They require hands on deck to work full time to actually maintain them and keep them going, because projects like that support a lot of companies all over the world. I mean, if React were to crash like now, I know like there are tons of applications, even thousands or maybe applications all over the world that will crash immediately if React crashes, because when you make an update, maybe when you pull, maybe when you like update a dependency or something, I just crash your React application. So yeah, projects like that are commercial and paid for several other reasons that I didn't mention, but that's one of the reasons, and I hope you get the idea though. So not to dwell on that for too long. So yeah, they are like, and there's like the free and open source software where like it's just maybe done by somebody just to just for the fun of it, or just for the good of people. And just like say, okay, okay, you guys should like can look at this my project I'm working on. For example, if I'm working on a browser extension that helps you apply to jobs faster, and I'm putting it out there on the on GitHub so that you can check it out on any other platform for hosting code online. So you can check it out and make contributions if you want, or make improvements. I mean, some of these projects that became commercial now started as like fun project or something that somebody was trying to use to solve a problem, and then they made it open source. Then it became what it is today, like, and became a full-fledged company. So it takes time, and like, and sometimes, but yeah, that's like me basically like trying to like separate the ideology of free and open source software and commercial open source software for you. But because a free and open source software can later still become a commercial and open source project. I'm not sure if it goes backwards though, but like, yeah, it's there's a higher chance of it becoming commercial eventually in the future. And doesn't mean that you will pay to contribute or pay to be part of the community. Still the same process, but now they're making money and some other means and all those things. So yeah, that's one difference. So I stated the difference between commercial and open source software. I also give you the difference between closed source and open source. So far, so good. So moving on, free and open source software I talked about a lot. So it's free, refers to freedom of the product, not its price, expense, or charges. For example, being free to speak is not the same as free lunch. So yeah, so like that was a joke that I was adding in. So yeah, like I mean, it depends on your ideology when you want to start your own project or when you want to join the project. You can actually contribute to either of these two guys. There are no limitations to joining them or making your own contributions or sharing your own thoughts with them. If you make like contributions to commercial open source project and you're like a very active person in the community or something, they can actually offer you like a full-time role and all these things. So like these are like some benefits for like in those aspects. Or maybe if it's even if it's free and open source and you're very active there, you can bring you on board the team and be like, okay, this person is very smart, and this person is very really active. Let's bring him on board and have this person join us. Stuff like that. They happen with time, and it just takes like, I don't know, takes like your interest and finding what works for you, and if you align with what the project is basically. So benefits of open source for organizations and developers. So there are lots of benefits, like so many. So community is like very key to open source. There is no community, there is no open source basically, because like, I mean, what is like, it does not even make sense to think about open source without thinking about people, because the people make what open source. is like without people there is no open source, because community is like the like number one driving force when it comes to an open source project. You need people, you need hands on deck. I need people to help you. There's the promotion part of the project, there's the management part of the project, there's the fixing bugs part of the project, there's the responding to users. There are so many parts when it comes to open source. So yeah, so you need community. And then yeah, open source gives more control over proprietary software. It allows users to examine the code and make sure it's functioning as desired. Contributors can check your code and say, okay, there are bugs here. Okay, there are issues with these projects that you put out here. We can help you. Non-programmers users also benefit from open source software as they can use it for the purpose they wish. Normally, how someone else thinks they should or something. Yeah. So maybe they use it and find it like, okay, there's like a flaw here. Since it's not working as expected, raised as an issue on the repo or something, and somebody on the team can check it out and say, okay, let's fix this and have it done. So Alliance, open source software is highly preferred because it helps individuals become better programmers. I can tell you from experience that most of the things that I know now, Git, how to use Git properly, like I didn't even know how to use Git at all, like until I came to open source. So it taught me all these things, and how to reach out to people, reach out to engineering teams, tell them, okay, there's a flaw in this code. I can make an improvement here, and like have you review my code. With open source, you're like, for me as a developer now, I'm talking from a developer's perspective, because it's not really about code. I can like put make changes to a project and send it out there and have somebody else somewhere in the world. It could be anywhere in the world, basically, pretty much. And the person reviews it and says, okay, okay, you need to make improvements here. This is bad, make improvements here. So I'm learning in that process and improving myself actually as a person. And if I were to get a job or a gig tomorrow, some of the things that I picked up from there would actually help me in the real world scenario, because I mean it's like free knowledge basically. So practitioners can share their work, inviting comments and critique, as I just said, as they develop their skills, they identify errors in your programs and source code and stuff for your projects, helping them avoid mistakes. Yeah. So security. Open source is more secure than proprietary software because anyone can view and modify open source software. But that's arguable though. But it makes it easier to spot and correct errors actually, because everybody is like inspecting your project, inspecting. It's not just code. I don't know why this is code, so much code related. So yeah, everybody can inspect your project and find errors and obvious flaws, or flaws are not even obvious, and say, okay, this is bad, improve this. There's a typo here. There's you're not naming something properly, you're not using this correctly, stuff like that helps your project, helping your project become better, more secure and stuff. So stability, many users prefer open source software to proprietary software for important long-term project, because a company can decide that, okay, we're shutting down these products now, we're not doing it anymore, and say, okay, yeah, we're moving on to other things. And you as an active user that's invested all your company's maybe resources or energy into that project, it'll be like, oh wow, they've like crashed the company or something like that. It might be very difficult for you to like go back or recover from that. But on open source projects, you can just look at it and say, yeah, I can sponsor this project and this project will keep running and we're making money, the team will be making money, and my company will not have to, my company that is relying on this open source project will not have to suffer any damages when things happen, because the project is going to last longer, because like you're probably like giving them monetary value or you're giving them support in some other aspects. So there's like stability when it comes to open source, because it's not just a one guy thing and one man thing. There's like a delegation and a separation of ownership and stuff. So rapid innovation. So open source always like brings improvements to things and speeds up innovation in software and in the tech community in general. But we've seen products like seen companies like OpenAI, seen things like Penports, like the open source alternative to Figma. Which other one do I know of? And these guys have actually like made companies, traditional companies like Google and Figma, to actually also make improvements to their existing products, and so they know that, okay, if we don't make these improvements to our own existing product, it might make us go bankrupt or something. So open source is like innovation. There's like, because you actually have nothing to lose, you are just putting stuff out there and somebody else can say, okay, wow, this is cool, let's check it out, and then you make it free. Like that's like the idea. And somebody else out there will be wild about what you've done. They might want to invest, something like that. So yeah, it's like several other improvements in the blockchain, AI, serverless microservices, containerizing like Kubernetes and some other products and stuff that later became commercial open source. So yeah, so many things when it comes to like innovation regarding open source software. So you can check out this article. I probably like dropped the link or something. So I extracted most of the information that I used to like take the session from the article and to give you like an ideology of open source 101. So I hope everybody got that though. Okay, yeah. So yeah, now that I've been able to like show you everything that open source is regarding. Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the for the applause and stuff. So yeah, I probably like left this out in the beginning, but I'm actually a developer advocate. Oh, okay, somebody has a question, but I'll answer your question soon. But I'm a developer advocate for an open source project called Million.js. And yeah, for today, I'm going to be showing you like real world projects on GitHub that you can actually make contributions to, and how to merge pull requests, how to review them, how to make a PR, maybe. Yeah, I think I can do that. Yeah, and then how to raise an issue on something, and how to also review issues and check them out. So I'll show you that on GitHub. But note that you can. It's not only GitHub you can use to do open source. There are several other ways to make to contribute in open source. But it's just that GitHub has built this reputation, and they've been so much what would I call it? They built this reputation basically to have like some of the greatest open source projects on their platform. React is on GitHub, Linux is on GitHub. I don't know where Linux is, probably Ubuntu or something is on GitHub. So yeah, MongoDB is on GitHub and several other projects. So yeah, React has just Express.js. I think I found out that recently with one of my friends that is on GitHub too. So like these guys have built like so much reputation to having most of the open source projects in the world be on them, be on their platform. I mean GitHub by these guys. So yeah, I'm just going to show you some projects and we're going to get started on that. So yeah, let me stop sharing my screen now. I think somebody had a question. Who was that? Somebody had a question. Can you raise your hand again?
I think maybe okay. I think maybe you should continue. Then we'll take all the questions at the end.
Okay, that's better. Yeah. So let me go to GitHub and share my screen. Let me share my screen again. I'll probably share my entire screen now. It's very messy. So yeah, on GitHub now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So yeah, I'm on GitHub now because it's two guys. On so yeah, this is GitHub basically. This is GitHub, and GitHub is what would I call it? It's a platform basically, or yeah, it's a platform where you can keep code online or store. It's like a platform where you just keep code online basically, but uses something called Git. So it's like very tightly linked to something called Git. So Git is what we like use to basically track changes and then iterate on software. So I mean like you guys probably like have used Control Z or something on your laptops when you are typing something and you made a mistake or somewhere, and then you like could type Control Z and then reverse back to a previous time where you made a change or a specific alteration. You can go back there immediately and stay around there. But when you start the laptop, the Control Z is lost, like because it has basically lost that state that I had at that time. That's lost memory of it. But Git is something that can persist, and we can use it. That's a very dumbed down explanation, though. But like it's beyond that. It has so many other capabilities beyond what I just said now. So, and Git is a very it's basically like a version control system. That's what I call it, because it like has a way to keep track of versions and like iterations of software and versions basically of the software. But it's very tightly linked with GitHub because it works with GitHub is just a platform for you to put your code online or your project online. That's a much better way to see it. So yes. So now I maintain two of these projects. So there's the 4C website and then there's Million.js. So I can show you both their websites, and then from there we can like dissect this two project, and I'll show you some like highlights of this two project. So this is 4C website. It's called 4C.rocks. and this is Million.js websites. It's million.dev and move this here. So this is Fossy.rocks. It's a website built with Next.js and Tailwind. And yeah, I joined the maintenance of this project like last year, October, as I said. So it's a community on Discord. And yeah, one of the biggest content creation communities there on Discord. And I maintain your website. It's gone through several iterations to become what you are seeing here in front of you now. Because this website style, like I'm a partner with Eddie up to one of the communities you should totally join if you're like super interested in upping your game when it comes to open source. So yeah, it went through like several iterations to become what you are seeing today now, from contributions from people, me maintaining, reviewing other people's codes and stuff like that to become what you are seeing now. So and then there's Million.dev. I joined Million earlier this year. Million is just a project that makes your applications up to 70% faster. It's a React application. It's a React library rather. So it's like, and we benchmarked it and stuff. And yeah, so Million is a tooling package, a JavaScript tooling package for front-end applications. And Million.js is a normal website built in Next.js and Tailwind. So these are the two projects I'm going to be going in depth into, just to show you some of the things, and from maintenance perspective, and from also the contributors perspective. So contributor is someone that makes contributions literally, and a maintainer is somebody that maintains a project. So maintainer is like what would I call it, the person that like how would I put it, somebody that presides over a project basically. So as a maintainer, you're presiding over a project, everything, you're responsible for the project basically. And you as a contributor, you're just coming to the project, you are maybe checking out the contribution guideline, and you are onboarding yourself to like, okay, understand what the project is and find some issues, find out how you can contribute to it basically. So that's like a very quick distinguishment. Yeah, I think that's a word between a open source maintainer and an open source contributor. So yeah, this is 40 sites. So it was built to them Next.js and Tailwind, as I told you. So now, standard open source project, you should have a README. And GitHub has this cool thing where it takes the README to markdown. So it's in your root folder. GitHub has this cool thing where it just grabs the README and displays it at the bottom of your project here. So this README like shows everything about the community, link to the Twitter, link to the GitHub. So Markdown is like a format that people use to like make cool stuff that look like this. You can do all these icons here and all these nice buttons and things. So that's Markdown. It's like you're writing HTML, but with some other little bit of condiments, I guess. So yeah, so like you see, there's a contribution step on a standard README of how you can. This is like a website, so the README is like different. So I'll show you Millions on so now, but let's look at 4 season. So like standard thing, it introduces the community to you because it's a community's website. It talks about the overview. Okay, want to contribute. These are the tech stacks that we're using, and for contributions, the code, what you need. Basic knowledge of Git, obviously, and then node. Contribution step, you can look at this Git board, like the project is already made on this Git board already. You can just like open it in Git board and use it directly. Or if you want to look at it on a laptop, you can like fork the repo. Forking is something we do where you like make a repository become like your own. It's like you're cloning it to your own account. Currently it's on Francesco's account, but you can clone it to your own account. And that's basically what forking is. So yeah, it talks about like the steps to setting it up. This is like code stuff. I'll just skip over this. These are like steps to setting it up. And then it talks about if you actually want to like add yourself to the website, if you wanted to put yourself here on this website, like an active member section here where we have like active members and stuff. And like we display their details, their photos and links to their portfolios online and stuff. So yeah, if you wanted to add yourself there, it gives you like how to set it up and stuff like that. And then at the bottom of the standard README for an open source project, you have the license for that project. So we can check out this license. You see it's like a standard. So this was like added automatically by GitHub. When you're opening a new repository, you can actually like choose whether or not to license the repository. So this is like what a standard MIT license looks like. It gives you like permissions that you have when when you are using this license, or when you see a project with this kind of license, and permissions you have as a contributor or a user. So liability, nobody's liable for whatever happens when you use the project. Warranty, no warranty. License and copyright notice, yeah. Conditions, yeah. But commercial use, modification, distribution, private use, whatever you want. These are like accesses you have with this kind of license. So that's an MIT license for a standard open source project. And sure, you can leave a star, is highly appreciated. So this is a very nice and good structured open source README. So now another thing that a standard open source project should have is called a contribution guideline. So you've read all these things, maybe you don't get it, you still need more information as a contributor. And come here and check these guidelines. I'm opening it in a new tab. Sorry, let me close this one. So you can check out this guideline, see how to contribute. Thanks for taking time to contribute. How to report bugs. They give you like a detailed explanation of how to report bugs. Yeah, how do I submit a good bug report? All this is a very detailed contribution guideline. I was very glad when I came on board Forces site and I saw this very detailed and full-fledged contribution guideline. Was very amazing. I even took inspiration from here and used it for Million when I go on boarded and Millions, because Millions contribution guideline was not very good. Yeah, so I had to like make some improvements. So you create a branch, you give it like step by step, like they're walking you through the process basically of how you should make contribution as a contributor. So it's very like detailed, and this is what I would expect, and something that would actually benefit contributors, because most people complain a lot about not understanding how to contribute open source, but because project has a bad README or project has a bad contribution guideline, and those are issues you can potentially raise on that project and tell to notify the maintainers that, okay, I don't understand your README and I don't understand how to go about contributing. Can you make a better contribution guideline, please? So those are issues you can potentially raise. And yeah, let me go back to code here. So show you contribution guidelines. So on this side, you can see contributors for an open source project. You can see there's GitHub, there's a GitHub action we're using here. So GitHub action is like an automated stuff that we used to handle some things like releases, maybe responding to first-time contributors when they first-time issue makers when they make issues or something. So you see like the most active contributors to this project here on the side here, and then there's the releases here. So the project is currently on 0.19.2. That's the latest release. So yeah, you see some other metrics here basically for forks, the amount of stars it has. And yeah, this is the issue part of an standard open source project on GitHub. Every project has this, even your own project that you created, that's this layout. It's a normal GitHub thing. But for people that are not code oriented, that are in tech, want to make open source contributions out there, this might be a little too much for you. But the first part of what I just said now about having a good README and a contribution guideline still does apply to you, though. If you are somebody that is not making code contributions, it does very much apply to you, because it will help you as a person to actually know, okay, how can I join this project and how can I make my own contributions. And our advice is start from like smaller open source projects like this, like websites, a resources open source project that you can just like easily make contributions to. Don't like go high, like maybe you're like a beginner that is starting out and you want to go and contribute to React or to MongoDB. That might be too much for you. Start from like smaller projects that you can find online or Google. I'll suggest some resources at the end for you to. But resources, I'll advise you use them sparingly, because some people just use those resources to promote their open source projects. So this is called an issue. This is called the issue section of the website. So you see that there are currently there are currently 4 issues open on this website. And when you see people's icon here, it means the issue is assigned to somebody here. So this is an issue that was opened recently by this person. Probably shouldn't be showing someone's name in a session, but yeah. So she talked about, or they talked about what they noticed in the open source in the website, and they said few months actually have been added to the computer, but it's not reflecting on the website. So yeah, this is a potential issue that the person raised, and said, okay, Toby, I would like to work on this. So this is very nice. Raised 2 weeks ago. Wow, didn't say this. Sorry. We have like this GitHub action that automatically applies a GitHub label. So GitHub label is how we like we as maintainers are able to differentiate issues. So we have like several labels. So this is a project. This is an issue that when done, we make an improvement to the project. This is an issue that we change interface of the project, provide enhancements, obviously. But this one is status awaiting triage. So if I haven't seen it yet, we have a GitHub action that's supposed to automatically do awaiting triage. So it's like too much code stuff. But for you that is making a contribution out there and is not code oriented, just know that when you create an issue, you are telling maintainers or people on the projects that, okay, I found this issue on your website and I'd like us to talk about it. I might not be able to fix it. Maybe you can give it to somebody else, but I've raised the issue here. And for raising issues on GitHub, you actually get that green square on your repo, on your profile. So there's a green square for opening issues. Just opening issues like throughout GitHub. You'll be getting green squares. You don't need to actually make quick contributions. So because raising issues is also contribution. I mean, like, it's like a way of you contributing. So I've seen this issue now. So I, as a maintainer, I'm going to grab this issue. I'll take it away from awaiting triage because what triage means is that it's not ready. Like you're still deciding, still like in the waiting stage. So I've seen this issue now. I know that okay, this is actually a bug, or maybe not a bug because it's not really bringing down. It's not really causing any anything to not work. Everything is working fine. But this is an improvement, and I can add it here. And it's also a good first issue because somebody that's out there that wants to make a contribution but has never made a contribution can actually come here and make a contribution. All you have to do is join the community and make some inquiries as to, okay, who are the new staff in the community? Who are the new members? Can you give me a list so I can update it on the website? So I can add this here. And then what other label can I add here? Maybe like priority. It's like a medium priority, or like a high priority maybe, because it's actually like against the purpose of the website. The website is to showcase the community. So I can label it as a high priority issue and then labeled. And I can reply Madu. I can tell them, hey at Madu, sure, you can work on this project, on this issue rather. It's all yours. This is like me saying very nice things and being nice because it's part of the process. Effective communication and polite, in the most polite way possible. Open source teaches that, so you don't really be offended or something. So she commented on this issue, so I'm going to assign her to the issue. So I've assigned her and she'll get the notification that okay, she's been assigned and she can maybe start work on it and raise something called a pull request. So pull requests are actually how you improve. Actually, when you fixed an issue and then you now want to put your fix, you want your fix to be added to this project. So those are the things that's what we term as pull request on GitHub. So pull request basically it's a request, but I forgotten how they coined the name pull request, but basically takes a feature that you fixed or something that you've done locally to improve the project on your own laptop, or maybe if you were a typo you fixed, or maybe you fixed an inconsistency with design or something and you want it to be added to the project online, you open a pull request. So now this pull request, let me look at this Olaoluwa and Bola's on said improve the UI inconsistency. So let's see what he did and let's review it. So it gives screenshots of how he improved the UI consistency based on what we currently have. So this is what we currently have on Force's site. So we have like this blue on this side, like some inconsistencies there. So maybe he was right. Let's see what he did. So what he did was he added this blue, this dark to like match the buttons here and all those things. And then a GitHub action automatically responded to him because he's a first-time contributor. So we already set this up somewhere in the project and automatically responded to him. And then I would approve this workflow now to run. So this thing will basically, because this project is connected directly to something called Vercel. So Vercel is how we host the website online. So I don't actually need to do much work here. The website is already hosted. I can visit a preview to see what he did before actually adding it to the project to for his changes to be reflected. So these were the changes he made to the Forces site, and he added this nice cool button colors, and then still maintain the colors and the animations are still there. So yeah, really good job by Olaoluwa. And then we can come back to the project and say, okay, this is very nice. Can check mobile version too. So I'm showing you like standard maintenance stuff that I do like daily or weekly or something or whatever as a maintainer on the Fossey website. So yeah, these are the changes he made, and it looks good on mobile, looks good on tablets, it looks good on tablet, and it also looks good on like a full-fledged website. So I can say, okay, a good job, Olaoluwa, and I can merge this pull request. So there's something called a review that I can do. This is probably like too much information for those of you that are not code related, but just is like me checking out what he has done and giving my feedback. So where is review? Review is like somewhere around here. I can check the files he changed. So he only changed like some background colors. I can see his changes too because I know how to read front-end code. So I can actually see his changes and say, okay, these were the changes he made. So I can provide my own review and say I want to approve of his changes. So I would say good job. And also for just reviewing people's PRs and approving on it on GitHub, you also get green squares as well. So it's not just about like pushing and making code. No. You can get green squares for me raising issues, green squares for pull requests, green squares for just reviewing people's PRs. That's all code reviews. You get green squares for it. So I can say good job and I can tag him. I'll say I'll merge it right away. So his PR doesn't actually fix any issue because we can actually connect a pull request to an issue to an issue to actually say that okay, this PR fixes an issue. So I can come back to issues and see is there any issue for UI inconsistency. So there's one for UI components, but what did the person say in the issue? Doesn't say activities card, Twitter and Discord button, star enactment, hash over effect. So the person complained about all these issues. And I think Olaoluwa, okay, he didn't come here to complain about the issue. Easy. I can just tag this pull request to his own pull request, and this issue to his own pull request, and then I'll say resolve something. So I'll just close the PR like that. So I can come here and say resolves issue hashtag something. So fits this is the issue. Oh no, that's not the issue. This is his own pull request, I think. Wait, what's the title again? Okay, improve the inconsistency. But the title of the issue is like issue hash something. This 400 and something, or something like that. So we can check the number. I still go back to check the number so to know what pull request is fixed. So let's come back here. So the title, the name of the issue is like 755. So it's hash 755. So GitHub has like this tag where it's like tag issues. So we can tag an issue to a pull request and know that okay, this pull request fixes this issue. So I'll come back here, I'll say fixes issue hash and write 755. It is already know the number. And that's it. I just did this rather. So resolves issue this. I can comment like that. Then I can merge this pull request. So I'll confirm merging his pull request. Now his pull request has been merged. It will be deployed to Vercel so I'll be able to see it live. So now that I've merged his pull request has been closed automatically. So we only have one pull request left. I'm not going to review that for now. I'll probably review it later when I'm like checking out the project on my own. So GitHub has this thing where if the contributor does not tag the issue that they are fixing, it won't close it. So we actually need to come here manually to tag the pull request that so it's like a connecting dots here. We're just taking one wire and plugging into another basically. That's literally where it's like. So I'll tag the pull request that fixes the issue. So I'll say fixed by I'll tag the issue as well. That was the title 759 feet improved inconsistency. So I'll close with this comment. And there it's done. So we have 3 issues open and 1 pull request. So that is like an overview of like a day in the life of a maintainer of an open source project. Basically, I just give you any contributor to because I showed you from a contributor's perspective of how you would want to make contributions and from a maintainer's perspective. And it's not just limited to this as a contributor. Fossey has a Discord community. So you can actually go there and find their people and say, okay, I love what you guys are doing on your website. I want to know more about you. So you can come here and join their Discord. And you can like relate to the community basically and find out the people working on the website. So maybe you can join them and be talking to them, make friends, make connections, find new people, find your future wives and husbands or something. Yeah, maybe not for that reason, but at least for several other reasons to make friends. Yeah, okay, you're still here. So yeah, these are like several other. So that's like an overview. So I'm trying to load their Discord now, so you can join the community. That's 4,000 members and stuff. So continue to Discord. I'm like I'm on several Discord communities, so you'll be probably be shocked to see the amount of channels I'm on, or I mean servers that I'm on. So don't be. It's just it's a lot for communities basically. I don't know. It's my network. Am I still on this meeting? Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you still hear me? I'm Precious. Are you still there?
Yes, can hear you. Can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
here.
So
Can hear you.
Yes,
see, I'm
I'm
clicking on
here.
this link to like load the forces site now. I don't know what's going on, but I'm already on the community show. I can just show you here. So this is the yeah, okay, awesome. So yeah, this is the Discord community of Forcing. So now Forcing has like because I'm a staff there, I know most of the things in the community. So you join, you introduce yourself, you relate to the people there. Then you can find this website channel and like some like in other communities too. They probably have a name that they give to the channel for maintaining their website. Or you can ask people around to find out where the team is. So because I'm already like a maintainer on this and staff here, so I know the community. So and somebody tagged me so I can reply yes, yeah, I'm here. What's up? I'm like on several other communities as well. So you can I don't know join as many but be active on some. That's the idea. As many as you can, but be active on like select ones. Do because the idea is I'm like I'm like a community fanatic. I love meeting people a lot, so that's why I'm like on all these communities. But yeah, I'm like so that's like an overview of um uh contributing to making contribution to an open source project and onboarding yourself to an open source project. I just showed you with the Fossey website. So yeah, so join the community, relate to people there, read the contribution guideline, check out the README, check out open issues, look for issues on the website and see how you can actually raise your own issues too. So I probably didn't show you how to raise an issue, but it's really easy. There's a new issue button here. You can just click on it to raise an issue. You find an issue on the website or something. You can see there are like templates for each of the issues you want to open. There's an issue for it if you found a bug. There's a documentation issue. Maybe it says something about how the README is, or maybe something about how the contribution guidelines, or maybe something about typography on the website. Maybe you found a typo somewhere and you like to correct it. That's fine too. Other issues, maybe it's not in these categories at all. So I can click on any of them. It's open like templates for me. There's a description here for opening the issue. I can give my issue a title. I'll describe it. I'll give you the steps that made me to encounter that issue, what I was doing, how I found it. This is a very detailed issue. Then I'll accept the code of conduct. Every open source project has a code of conduct that you must follow. It's like rules about how to state issues. Don't be harsh. Don't be disrespectful. All those things, like normal things that you would do as a polite person. So yeah, that's pretty much yeah what it's like to open an issue. It's roughly the same with a pull request. A pull request probably made a change somewhere, and now you want to open a new pull request or something. So pull request is like there has to actually be a change for you to make a pull request. So if you haven't made a change, maybe from any other maybe from your own repository that you're trying to merge to this one, or maybe you made a change to the README, for example. If I click on this edit, yeah, I can make a change to read me and maybe fix a typo or something, and I can commit my changes. So this is like advanced Git stuff, but I'm not trying to bore you with GitHub and stuff. You can check Git and how GitHub works on your own. But basically, if I make any edits or any changes, even if it's just increasing spacing or fixing, deleting a letter, it's a change. So it's to grab it. I can commit the changes and I can put it online. And I can raise a pull request for it. Or maybe I made my own changes locally, maybe after cloning the project on my laptop, and I want to push it back online to this Fossey side and say, okay, these were the changes that I made locally, and it has fixed so issues on this project, and I would like to get it added to the official project so that people can benefits from it and people can see the improvement, yes, you will raise a pull request as well to add your changes to that project. So you can see I made a merge to this of this person's pull request to be highlighted here. That so yeah, you can actually use to catch me if I was the one that crashed the project or something. So yeah, we can check the official site to see if Olaolu's changes has been merged. So if I refresh now, you see his changes are live on the official website now. So yeah, that's pretty much a day in the life of a maintainer and a general a like broad overview of so I didn't give you like some details because like it's an introduction class to open source. But I just want to wow you with how wonderful open source is and how crazy it is to contribute to an open source project and process basically. So that's all for the Francesco site. And yeah, probably like gone over time because like almost over 1 hour now. But I can introduce you to Million too. So Million is a very now real world project, now a very large scale project, serious project. Well, not too serious too, but it's pretty serious because like they're doing like it's a UI, it's a tooling library now. This is like library scale code, and it's not actually as simple as the first side was. Now for Million, projects like this require like they actually have some level of skill to make code contributions. But the idea to contributing to projects like this, if you don't have coding skills, is just to come here, okay, maybe search for issues on their README, search for issues with their maybe directory structure, maybe search for issues with maybe on their website or something. Or maybe you found a bug, maybe when using the project in your own application, you can come here, raise issues like the normal way I just showed you, and then people can check them out and can see there are 42 issues currently open. I recently created issue labels because we don't have very good issue labels. So I created that like was it yesterday. I'll probably like come back here to come and label the issues appropriately as well, so people can check them out. So most of the issues are assigned to Aiden. It's like a default thing that he did on the project. So Aiden is the owner of the project. So and there are 6 pull requests open currently. Some of them are like failing some test cases. So your pull request is failing a test or something, to show this council sign. If it's passing, to show this check mark. So if your pull request is failing in that case, don't panic. Easy, just maybe tag the maintainer, and the maintainer can explain why it's failing. So this is why this one is failing, is because this Million playground is not deployed on the Vercel. So the maintainer can explain to this contributor that, okay, yeah, I will merge your pull request because you're actually not breaking anything on the project, and don't panic. I understand your changes, and we can help you get out. It's not really a problem, and we can check your issues and stuff. So yeah, so that's like a general overview as to how you can actually onboard yourself onto open source projects. And I didn't go in depth into Million, probably should have, but yeah, it's a more serious project, has over 10,000 stars as compared to the 149 it's on Forces side. So this is a bigger project, and to make code contributions to this, if you have like the skills, sure, just check out the contribution guideline, like the way I showed you before, and see how you can get started too. There's a link to the contribution guide here, and check this out. Just you can read it up. I wrote this when I came on board the project, so you can check it out to see how to contribute as well, how to run it locally, all these things. I explained what each directory contains and the files to each one of them. So yeah, this is a very full-fledged contribution guideline, and you can check out the website too if you want further details for an open source project that is like a bigger open source project on a larger scale. So yeah, I think that pretty much does it for my session, and I don't want to bore you guys with too much information and things that you probably will not need. But some of these things I found out later on when I was in open source already. So it takes time. It's an initiation process. Sometimes you feel bad, and yes, do not whenever you feel like you're down or you can't continue. It's fine to always take a break and to relax uh, and try to like regroup and come back to projects, because with open source, like when it comes to like monetary returns, it's not very easy to get monetary returns from open source projects. I've gotten like gigs from open source where people offer me like a job to maybe a minor gig or a contract to do something for them on the project. Yeah, it's one of the benefits because you meet people and you connect with people. But yeah, like at times it might not be yielding money. I actually need to work on other things that will yield money for you. Fine, it's always fine to always do that. And then when you are like working on like an open source project, it gives you the skills you need, and yeah, equips you for like the reward scenario, because you learn most of the things you would probably not get. Yeah, and it's always probably like a good idea to do open source project that align with your skills. Don't do something that is beyond you. So I don't feel like you're doing too much work. The idea is to enjoy it and have fun, and help make people's lives better, basically. So yeah, I think that's all for my session. Now, let me stop sharing my screen.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much, Toby. Guys, can we like give him some reaction? Like use the, you know. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you guys. So there are some questions in the chats, but before we come back to Toby for him to take some of the questions, I would also like to call on Neil so that he can quickly like show us, some of the stuffs updates that we have on Tublian. Right. So after the update, we'll come back to Toby. So all your questions, I can see Jesse Adeshina, your hand is up. We're coming back to take your questions. And then I can see some questions already in the chat box. David, I can see Treasure. But before we take the questions, I want us to, Neil, to call on Neil to give us some updates. So Neil. Hi,
Yeah.
Neil, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm
all
here.
right.
Thanks. Thanks. It was an awesome session, Toby. I will not take much time. I will just, maybe what I'm going to show you guys going to be extension of what he was talking about. So I think we are all kind of pumped up to contribute to open source. What we're trying to do is that take you to the next step, walk you through that journey. So let me share my screen here. So we are all about building the next generation of 10x software engineers and developers. So if you're new to open source, that's exactly what we are trying to do here. Can I help you out? So I'm going to share my screen. Do you see my screen? Anybody? Give me feedback.
Yeah, I can see it. I can
Okay,
see your
awesome.
screen.
Cool. So I'm going to jump in. I'm not going to bore you to the details. So usually what our users do is that when you join Tublian, one of the things that we do is that our main focus is help developers contribute to open source, because that's how you stand out. And like Toby said, that's how you become a better developer. So I'm going to show you something that we recently released. Kind of excited about that. So open source can be daunting initially. Like Million is a great project. We're going to add that Million project in our list here, obviously, to find which project we should contribute to. So one of the things that we are trying to do here is to make that search easier for you. So when you come in, we build a new search. Obviously, if you want to do your first open source contribution, we help you with that too. You can click here. That will actually take you to, there's a famous project called First Contributions. It walks you through step by step what you need to do. If you haven't done any pull requests or anything on a GitHub, this is a great place to start. It will take you 10 minutes. If you have the environment set up, it actually can walk you through, and immediately you'll see your contribution. But what we have done is that we have gone a bit further than that. What we're trying to do is that, let me show you something here. Let's say projects using GPT. So what we do is that we constantly mine GitHub and find exciting projects for you, specifically focus on projects which are beginner friendly. We tend to do that because there are lots of excitement with GPT now. If you want to do open source, let's work on GPT related projects. So this is the one GPT related project. Somebody said wants to join. Give me one sec. Admit. All right. So what you've done is that when you click that project, what we do is that we curate a list of issues, like Toby was talking about. Not all issues are beginner friendly. So you have to find out issues like he was talking about, tagged as a good first issue, enhancement, many help wanted. These are great tags to look for. So we do that. So this is a platform that kind of mines the data and help you kind of bubble that up so that you don't have to do that legwork. Actually, we have gone one step further now. So when you click the issue, it looks like we need to add some sort of linting for Python files here. So we collect lots of metrics about the open source project because that's important. Like Toby was talking about, open source is all about community, right? You want to ensure you want to be part of a community which is active, which is thriving. So some of the aspects that we look at the health is that is the documentation is proper. Like Toby's contribution.md file, that was a great example. That's how the contributors file should be. So we look at all those aspects so that we know that you're looking at a good project to contribute. The next thing that we have done is that we added if you're not aware of Tublian, one of the big things that we do for developers is that every developer in our platform gets their own AI assistant. So one of the interesting things that we have started doing with this, that now we are using tools to help us with issues. So for an example, we had AI kind of analyze that issue for us. It summarizes what's needed for that issue and generates a list of tasks that we think is needed to require to solve that problem. So this, if you are a little bit hesitant, you have a fear to get started, we are hoping that something like Copilot will definitely help you hold your hand so that you can cross that bridge and become an open source developer. There are lots of other exciting stuff coming along. For an example, we will also help you find a pair partner. So sometimes open source contributions can be daunting, right? You sometimes wish I had some developer I can work with together. So that's a feature coming where we will recommend people for you within the platform that you can pair with and work together to solve that issue. So we are super excited about this. If you're really interested about open source, we feel like you should give this a try and let us know what you think. That's about it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Neil. Thank you very much for keeping it short. And thank you very much for that amazing tool. So we'll go to the questions now. Toby, you're still here, right? Hi, Toby. I just want to confirm if you are still here. If you can hear me, so we can start taking the questions.
He's here. He's on mute.
Yeah, Toby, you're on mute. Okay. Hi, Toby. So
Well, I
have
think
Daniel. Oh, okay, he's here. He's here. Okay. So Daniel, you can go on and ask your question. After Daniel, we'll take Jesse's question. Yeah. So Daniel.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm Daniel Samuel.
Yeah, good evening.
Machine learning. Yeah, my machine learning computer vision engineer. I also do robotics. I write C++ and Python and C. So I want to ask a question. I'm from Nigeria, and in Nigeria, things are not free. Internet is not free. Light is not free. Everything is not free. So even doing open source, I need money to buy data, to buy internet. In fact, to even come to GitHub and search for something, I need data. So this open source of a thing, do you earn any money from it? Because at least you need to survive. So do you earn any money from it? Is there a way to earn money from it? How do people who do open source, how do you earn a living? People doing open source. People just doing only open source. How do they earn a living? How do they survive on it? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Daniel. Good question. Something that people that promote open source should probably like talk more about. Because I mean, if you do I do open source, but like I also have other full-time engagements that I work on. Because open source is not I think I've heard somebody say this once. I can't remember if it was Pedro or if it was Kelsey Aitoa, that open source is something that is not a necessity, but it's something that you can actually do. You don't need to do open source, but you can do it if you want to. You can be a great developer, you can be one of the best developers out there, and you would not even actually have done you would not actually have done open source a day in your life, and you still be very good, and you would be maybe engage yourself with other full-time roles and like apply for and the traditional way and make your money. So these are other ways. I'm just saying, like, open source is not something that you actually have to do, but it's fun to do. It's a very nice thing because there's a community, there's you improving yourself, there's you networking with people. It's like a means of networking as well. So there are other benefits to it. But Nigeria, sure, I'm in Nigeria too, so I know how Nigeria works. And me doing open source does not mean I dedicate my entire life to open source, because because I also have other full-time engagements that I also make money on the side from. So the open source is something you can do. You something that you can do, not something that you must do. Something that you can do or should do, not something that you must do. So like yeah, it's always like clear to understand to understand that to understand that there's a fine line between you actually getting yourself a full-time job to survive and actually doing open source too for the benefits that it offers. So it's not something that you must do.
Yeah, I'm asking because because if there's no source of income, all right, um, I don't really know. Most people in this country will need money and all those things.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
as,
yeah,
as
yeah. I get your perspective. Yeah, I
as
get
a,
your
yeah,
perspective.
yeah, someone
Yeah.
starting tech, and I really want to contribute to open source.
Mm-hmm.
And this open source of it actually exposes people a lot, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to buy data. Like, there's one company from India that actually got to me to help them. Like, they gave me a test to do, and then this test actually needed me to buy data, buy stores, right? And I use MacBook, and then the model I was trying to run didn't run on my Mac, so I had to get a computer from another company, an NVIDIA computer. I got a new computer, NVIDIA. So, and for me to even set up the NVIDIA computer, I need data. And I couldn't go telling them that I need money now. So it's like that means I'm already spoiling everything. That means, and because of that, I've delayed it for like this is close to 2 months. I've not still finished common tests I can finish in 1 week. So you see, it's
Yeah.
a very big issue. If there's no money, if if I cannot get even $10 or half dollars or $1 to even buy data, then how do I survive? Why should I do it?
Yeah.
I'm just asking a
All right.
question, man.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. I also want to chip in that, yeah, so open source, most one of the major things that open source also give you visibility, right? So contributing to open source, engaging with people, being part of a community also helps you, helps to put you out there. So for instance, if they should, you know, I had a chat with I think Brian, when he came to Nigeria for Oscar Fest, and so he asked me if they should employ you today at Microsoft and they give you their code base. Where do you know you are going to start? How do you start? Right. So that is also another thing that open source does for us. It helps you to give you that base, to understand what it means to go into a large code base, and then from the day one you pick it up and then you start making contributions. So it might not give you the money on the first day, but then eventually, trust me, it always comes around. So I think there's another question. So let's go to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Adeshina. Hi, Toby. Are you trying to say something?
No, I just want to finalize on what Daniel said. There are also like other means to make money. There's GitHub Workbench. And actually even I think I mentioned in the presentation that I got a gig from a guy to do like a make some changes to the website, and he said he was actually going to pay me like per hour for a gig. Like, and that was an actual open source project. All I had to do was make my changes and then push it to the repo, and he said he would pay me regardless if it's going to be matched or not. So there are several other ways to actually make money for open source. It just depends on yeah, your circumstances matter, because if it's not fine for you, sure, don't do it. But if it's something you can manage to do, it's something that is good for you, I guess. Somebody has a question.
Yeah, Jesse, your hand was up. Do you still want to ask a question?
I think you left the meeting.
I think he left. So also, I just want to maybe in one of these master classes, I'm going to invite Omotala. Maybe Omotala should come and talk about earning from open source, because I know she works for Outreachy, and then I've met her a couple of times. Maybe I will bring her to come and talk to us about earning from open source, because actually you can make money from open source. So I think Outreachy pays around, I think $5,000 or $3,000 for a period of 6 months or so for you to contribute to open source. And there is also, I think, Google season. I can't remember the other one, but then there are some of that
That's GSOC.
Google. Google GSOC, yeah. Also, GSOC also pays, Google Sum of Code. You can also earn money contributing to open source, different open source projects. You get experience and you earn money. So, Treasure asks, does making continuous contributions to a particular company's project, can it earn on a landing role at the company, like the role of a developer advocate or probably a staff? So I guess what she's trying to ask is, contributing to a particular company's open source project, will it help you to land a role, or land a role in the company? Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
Toby.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're like success stories. Some I know, some I probably haven't heard of before. But I know, like, I've forgotten his name. There was a time I was Francesco was telling me about one of the developers that works with them at Daily Dev, and then he said, when they because Daily Dev used to be like a full scale open source project that was free, no money, nothing. When Daily Dev became, and this guy was like super active, contributing to Daily Dev and all that, helping them, like it was basically like a part of the team because he was very active on the project and making contributions. I know when the dev became like an actual company, they gave him a full-time employment, and until today he still works at the dev. So that's one success story. Another is with Dan Abramov's. You probably have heard of him if you're a front-end developer. So Dan Abramov is part of the React core team now. So the way Dan Abramov started out, it was just he's even a dropout from school. He dropped out in like his second year or something, and then he was making like started using React a lot. Like when he worked like several jobs. I think he started from Russia then he went to like several other then in Russia I worked for several other companies and stuff when he left school to focus on like development and stuff. And then later on, because he was using React so much when he came out, then the acting was like, okay, who is this guy that is that is very active on like this code base and that's been using the product a lot. So they brought him over to because they could not get him like a job in the US. So they had to like bring him over to the UK and they gave him like a full-time job. And he works at React. And if you're working for a React, you are technically a Meta employee, like you work at Facebook. That's like it's as simple as that. So yeah, so they are like success stories, but it's not like the same for every. It's not a guarantee that it will happen to everybody. Yeah, because like, it's normal stuff. That's the way life works. But it depends on the project you're working on. So I think the idea is to work on, because you don't know when a project can fail and when a project can succeed. So the idea I guess is to find something that resonates with you, and which is where the community comes in, and find something that okay, if I'm dedicating this much to a project, can actually help improve this project and myself as a developer, because you'll be tackling issues, tackling challenges daily, and then you'll be also being constant like communication with the core team of that project. I know that okay, I'm very active. I want to like dedicate so much to your project, and I know that I can make like this many improvements to your project and stuff. So if you like that monetizes tomorrow and they become big, they can actually like give you a full time, because you already know the code base. They are not stressing. They are just bringing somebody that already knows how to find his way around their code base. They don't need to go and be hiring somebody and be onboarding and wasting money. Like they'll just bring you on board. So yeah, I think that's my own answer to that question. I hope you answers the question.
So I have a similar story. I've actually, I'm the one who got a job because of open source contribution. So I was telling Toby about that. I was doing Scala before it was cool. I guess I started. But as always, I think he said a very important point, which is to keep in note, if you go after the price, then it's probably not the right way to start. That's not the right mindset. The right mindset should be you're excited about a problem, you're excited about technology, you are just going for it. That's what I did. So I started with Scala, then somebody reached out to me on Twitter that would you be interested in working for us, because they're forming a company around Scala. And who knows, 6 months down the line, I was actually working with the person who created the programming language. It's like a dream come true. I would have never got that opportunity, never, if I haven't done open source. That's why I'm so passionate about this. Open source can change your life.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right. Yeah. I totally agree too. There's a lot of success stories about open source. So there's another question here saying, how do you find an open source project to contribute to?
Good question. I think Neil already like pitched a Tublian to you. So I didn't even know Tublian had that much capability. So you can actually use Tublian for all these things. But there's also like GitHub as well. I mean, GitHub is there. There's like a search bar literally on GitHub. You can search by let me see if they really improve their search. So there's like a search at the top of GitHub where I can search by what can I search by? There are several other like searching techniques that I can use to search for project. I think I can search by issue labels. I can just search by keyword. I can search maybe let me see if I search JavaScript. But I can search by like keywords on GitHub because every project has like this batch thing that they do. You probably saw it when I was showing you Million and Forces sites. So each project has like badges they use to like separate their project and classify their projects. Or you can search by issue labels. Maybe you can search by good first issues. Because good first issues are the ones you probably need to contribute to as a beginner. But the thing with good searching by good first issue is that it might not be direct because it's not as straightforward as I'm saying, because it might be an issue because some people use the good first issue label on their issues just to promote an issue and attract contributors and stuff. So it might be like a hack or something like that. But you can also use goodfirstissue.dev. So that's a website that I got to know around last year. I can drop it in the chat, but probably check out Tublian or something too, because I didn't know Tublian had so many features, like even with the AI stuff and everything. It's a very chill and like a like a easy onboarding system, I guess, to finding issues. So I just dropped goodfirstissue.dev in the I don't think it's a link, so you can copy it and paste it on your search bar on your browser to find yeah, it's a very nice way to find issues. Projects on GitHub that you can contribute to. And you should start contributions on projects that match your skill level. Don't go you can go higher. Maybe you might find mentors and stuff that you can work with. But my idea, I think what would work best for you is to look for projects that have what you are willing to offer. Because that way you can put in more, because you can't give what you don't have. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You can't give what you don't have. If you don't have something, you can't give it. You can only give what you have. So but like when you go to a project that you cannot offer anything, like you are just going to stress yourself out, and it might destabilize you and feel like maybe you're not confident enough and like you're not good enough or something, like imposter syndrome and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, just find projects that you can actually offer things and improve upon. And but with time, if you are like good and like a very good, like okay, maybe for that project you can go to other projects to and give what you have to those projects and improve them. So like a chain though, like a chain, you move up the chain in open source, you don't go down the chain, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So Treasure Olayinka also requested that you send the link to the Discord community that you shared. Also, Emmanuel Ebel, your hand is up. Can you go and ask a question? Unmute and ask a question. Oh, I guess that was a mistake. Okay, Emmanuel, yeah.
I believe never if the Manuel I'm a software developer front end to be precise. Okay, my question is that is there a full stack open source project? And if there is, okay, if someone is a front end developer and okay, you want to work on an open source website and you need the data from like a backend and you only knows the front end, you don't know maybe anything about the backend. So how is it going to get like the data from a back end developer? So that is my question.
Yeah, very good question. And I actually experienced this recently when I worked on Linkfree. But the thing with projects like that is that, which is where contribution guideline comes into play actually. Because if your contribution guideline,
No,
if
I'm
you've
not
not
gonna
set,
lie, Emmanuel, you have a bold ass head.
it was that. So if you don't
Think it
set
was
up like
Captain Bob.
Precious,
Neil, I think you might have to kick that person out
No.
because
Shut the fuck up.
So yeah, I think you
Alright.
have to figure it out. Yeah, there are those people that try to bug, you know.
Yeah, let me try. This is crazy.
Yeah, so because they,
You sound like a
they
SpongeBob
found it
character.
online and they are here. So
Thank
all
you,
right, you
thank you.
can go on to
Yeah. So I said, Emmanuel, to answer your question, that was very funny, by the way. The thing with projects,
That's funny.
the
Sorry
thing with
about
projects, yeah, sure, sure. The thing with projects like that is that they basically would have given you like a contribution guideline that you can follow, and all you have to do is read the contribution guideline and follow it step by step. So they'll tell you how to set up the project locally, and they'll tell you how to the things to install, the things to get to actually set up the backend. Maybe if you need to run the backend server locally, how you can get it all. If there's a database online where their data is live, and you just need to run a backend server to connect to the database so that you can run the full stack app on your laptop, your machine, or whatever. Yeah, so they'll give you like step by step process for that. That's where the contribution guideline comes into play, or their documentation. Because some people don't have like some people have so much information to set up things like that that they want to break it down. So they might use a contribution guideline so that to know so that to avoid confusion. So in those cases, they might use the documentation instead, so that they'll be able to have like enough room to explain properly how you can set it up. So I know Linkfree. I experienced that with Linkfree when I was trying to set up Linkfree for my project. Linkfree had like Next.js on the front end, and they had like their API is written in Next.js too, because Next.js is full stack. So they wrote their servers there, and they were connecting to a database online. So I had to set up MongoDB on my laptop and install Next.js and install the Linkfree project. So I ran it, then I was able to connect to the database online. I was reaching out to Eddie too on the server, which is where the Discord server also comes into play. Servers in the Discord server, not servers in the the other server now. So yeah, I was like talking to Eddie there. Like, okay, Eddie, how do I set this up? I'm having these issues. You can probably improve your documentation in this aspect. So I found out something that was outdated in the documentation. I should probably have raised an issue. I'm not sure if I did, because I was able to debug my issue that day by finding the right link to the documentation that I needed. They were giving an old link on their documentation. So yeah, those are things to, and they'll give you like step by step process. Don't worry. Like if the project does not give you, know that the project is not good enough. I know that their control guidelines is not good enough, but not the project. So you can reach out to the maintainers and maybe find people that it's easy to find maintainers on projects. Like you literally like probably see them there on the project. Just like scour the GitHub profile of the project. You'll find the maintainers there. You can tag them in an issue and say, I'm trying to set up this project, maybe create a new issue. I'm trying to set up this project, but I don't understand how to go about it. Can you please walk me through the process? So if the maintainers are active and maybe not good enough, sorry. Yeah, so yeah, that's the answer. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So I also want to show something about getting a project. I'm trying to share a window. Can I share a tab? So I think I worked with Neil last week to work on this. To work. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, all right. So we worked on this last week. So this is the Tublian Discord server, Discord community. So when you come here, you go to our house. Maybe I will take this out of social and do like maybe an open source. So we integrated what's called first timer only. So these are projects that are first timer based projects. So anytime first timer makes a tweet, there's a first timer project, you it shows up, pops up here on our Discord server, right? So you can easily contribute. So if you look, you can see that some of these projects are very basic projects, like change text color from green to purple, update project structure doc with all the default tables. So, you can also use that to contribute to your first open source and all. So, this is the link to join This is the link to join, the Tublian Discord server is on the chat box. So you can, you can join the Discord server and then also get to use that to make your first contribution. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out today. It was really an interesting and engaging session. I really want to thank everyone for coming out. Yeah, also, this was brought to you by Tublian. So you visit tublian.com. We have a lot of tools that you need to, if you are looking for jobs, someone like Daniel that is looking for money. So just go to tublian.com, go and click on the playground. You are going to see, an AI tool that is going to help you to look for jobs. So Danny, I really think you should check it out. Tublian.com, go to playground. Just get any job that you see online, copy the job description, paste it on that playground, click enter, and then it's going to help you, prepare you for an interview, give you a whole lot of things. I don't know, maybe I should demo that, but if I can't, all right. So it helps you to, keep track of what you're doing, keep track of your jobs, um it's really interesting too. And then also there's another thing with the new Copilot now, and the recent updates that we did. The Copilot right now, it can help you see jobs that are within locations, right? And we made a lot of interesting updates. So for me, currently I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. So InterSwitch is looking for a Java software engineer. So Workbroke is looking for a software engineering manager, right? So these are jobs that are within my locations here in Lagos. All I need to do is to click, I like InterSwitch. Most of you guys work at InterSwitch. So I'm going to click explore with Copilot, and then I will just wait for the AI to help me, prepare for this job. So it has already told me, oh, I need to learn the Java programming language. I need to learn Spring Boot, JSF, and Spring MVC. So coming down, they're telling me that, oh, according to all my activities on GitHub, I'm only 30% match. My profile match this job with just 30%, which is slightly poor because, yeah, of course, I don't think I have any Java code on my GitHub. So that also makes sense. So it goes on to explain the job for me. And then I can actually apply for this job. I can decide to apply on LinkedIn or apply on JobMag, anywhere that it is. So also it helps me to write a LinkedIn DM that I can send to people that work at InterSwitch. I find them on LinkedIn. I can send them this message. I can decide to message their CEO. And then while applying for the job, they request for a cover letter. All I have to do is to copy this. The AI has provided this for me. Very interesting feature that you all can easily use to, apply for job. This for those looking for job right now, right? So this is the most interesting part, the interview questions. So now, I don't know if I can really do this. So if I am preparing for interview, right? So there's a question here. Can you explain the concept of microservices and how they are implemented in Java using Spring Boot framework? I clearly don't know the answer to this question because I think I wrote Java in the university, but it's been a long time, so I can't remember. I didn't even use any framework at all. So the interesting thing is that you can answer this question with your voice, the way you answer it in an interview. And then when you are done answering, I didn't answer the question though, so it's going to obviously tell me that I failed. So when you are done answering the question, it's going to tell you if you are right or if you are wrong. And then it's also going to give you the right answer. And then it keeps on giving you questions just to help you prepare, because interview needs practices. You need to practice before you go for an interview, And you probably didn't get what I was saying because I was talking too fast, right? So, and then also, last but not the least, so normally it gives you also some open source project that you should contribute to, or things that you need to learn to gain hands-on experience, right? So I think you guys should check out this too. It's really an interesting one, There are a lot of interesting things that you can do on tublian.com. Like it's amazing, right? And then the most exciting feature for me is the street cred. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that normally once in a while I come to tweet I just take a screenshot of my street cred and I tweet it, because Tublian has a way of aggregating everything that I've been doing, and then they they give me this number that's, oh yeah, I can show. And then another interesting thing is that at Tublian, we are also like working with recruiters too. So recruiters are looking at our back end and also looking at, the people that we have on our platform, the type of developers that we have, and then also the things that they are doing just in case of recruitment. So it's also important that, we show up here. Meanwhile, shout out to Sabi. Sabi, I can see you here. You are you are the third highest contributor for I know you're on a call. So this is me giving you a shout out, man. Thank you very much. And then keep doing the good work. All right. So someone wants to ask a question. Emmanuel Abel, you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
Okay, sorry. My other question is that I think that many of developer, they are kind of a technical writer. Is it every developer and have to learn these skills, like the technical writing? In terms of after you do some of your stuff on GitHub, then you have to explain it in a way that in your README, in a way that people could understand. So did you get the
Toby,
question?
Toby, will you want to take that, or should I take it?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So I don't think it's so it's good if you can write, but then no pressure. If you cannot write, it's fine. That is actually why we have technical writers, right? But if you can write, that is a plus, right? So I think that's like the best way to answer that. So unless if Toby or Neil wants to add any other thing, I think that's it from me.
So I want to add something, which is software development is a team sport. So rarely you'll be working alone. You'll always have team members and engineers you're working with. Maybe you'll have a manager, maybe you'll have a technical lead. What separates good developers from great developers are excellent communicator. Because you have to, even if you have a solution, an idea for, hey, I know a better way to solve this problem, I know I can fix that bug, you always have to somehow explain. But that's a skill that comes as you continue to work. Is not everybody sucks at the beginning. I was horrible. I was so shy and timid. I will hide in my cubicle and not talk to anybody. But as you get comfortable, as you grow as a software engineer, that's one of the skills that if you can learn, that will be tremendously valuable for your career. Does that help?
Okay, thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you. I really appreciate. This is the part where I play a song, but I didn't plan. So my player is very far from me. So thank you, Toby. Thank you, Neil. Thank you everyone for coming out. I really appreciate. And that's it for today. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Toby. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. So the link to join the community is on the chat if you want to join the community. And then you can follow us on social media and also try to